won't bury you. I've buried enough members of the Wayne family.
You don't owe these people anymore. You've given them everything.
Not everything. Not yet.
Hey viewers, this is Cash here with another movie review, and this is my third installment of The Dark Knight Rises. I have promised you guys this review for a while, about a week, and it's time to review it, so let's get started. And believe me when I say this, before a hero can rise, he must suffer a fall, and fall the Dark Knight quite spectacularly did that last time around, taking the rap of crimes he didn't commit, marking himself as a vigilante, Perel, and even letting Heath Ledger steal the reviews. Now let's talk about this. No way that's happening in the last installment. A comic book tale that has gotten darker than anyone thought possible is now careering toward a burst of light, possibly a nuclear blast at the end of the tunnel. And what Christopher Nolan's doing in the Dark Knight trilogy has always focused on the psychology of evil, and this time the director is looking more at evil's implications. Bat gizmos or no, this new movie has both feet planted firmly in the real world. What I mean by that is it's a lot more realistic than The Dark Knight and Batman Begins. This is the last installment for Christopher Nolan. What's your poison? Terrorist, Wall Street shenanigans, government incompetence. Nolan's got you covered. This film bad guy has been trained in a Middle Eastern hellhole, conspires with stock manipulators and exploits that mother of all police cover-ups. So are you troubled by social inequality making political headlines? Studio heads may identify with billionaire Bruce Wayne, but Nolan knows there are more moviegoers in 99% range. There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne whispers, and Anne Hathaway's cat burglar. You know you and your friends better batten down the hatches, cause when it hits, you're all gonna wonder how you even thought you could live so large and leave so little for the rest of us, she says. She's not even the only one who's mastered messaging. Bad guy Bane, the bane of all of our existence, as played by Tom Hardy in a mouth guard that's give fanboys orthodontist nightmares, had his anti-government down so pat he can make a new Bat-style day sound vaguely reasonable, and that's true to the fact, guys. His diabolical plans for Gotham mix other specifically horrors with modernist ones. People courts straight of a tale, two cities, a surveillance society on steroids, even underground tremors that will stoke freaking fears. All of this is set and not stylized in Gotham from the previous movies, but in my opinion, and it's more gritty post-September 11 Manhattan, complete with an all still under construction tower at ground zero. Quite a setting for supersized superheroics in my opinion. Also, another thing I want to say is I saw the film in a 35mm and did not feel deprived, though certainly by heading back to the catch in IMAX at some point. Even without image 5 stories tall, the spectacle is considerably pumped by Hans Zimmer's score, so thundering and powerful, guys, that this pretty much drowns out the dialogue in some spots. So that's another thing that I had a little complaint about, but that's very little complaining. And if a couple of Morgan Freeman's bat gizmos seem sort of standard issue in this, a big wheel bat cycle for instance, that's not very interesting until it corners itself. He and the rest of the characters keep things plenty compelling in my opinion, whether they're old friends like Michael Caine, for example, Protective Butler, Alfred, or new ones like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's police officer. As you might expect from the creator of Inception and Memento, there's always surprises both in the story and the storytelling. This is Christopher Nolan's way of giving all of it. But the biggest surprise may just be how satisfying Nolan has made his farewell to the Dark Knight trilogy, that many fans will wish he extend to be 10-part series at least for a lot of people who have said they wanted to see another Batman movie because of the ending of this film. Others will see it differently, but for me, this is a great bombastic conclusion to a superior series in my verdict of this film. And you know, I really had no flaws besides of the fact that sometimes the Hans Zimmer music could get a little too loud. Even with its flaw, The Dark Knight Rises is a solid film. It just fails to live up to the magnificent legacy created by the first two movies that Christopher Nolan created for the trilogy. To be fair, they were incredible hard acts to follow. The Dark Knight Rises is all about risk, guys, and there are payoffs and failures to go with it. So I mean, he did a great job concluding The Dark Knight. Technically, The Dark Knight Rises is a thick leather-bound volume with glided pages. Though flipping through it, it yields a story about a big bad bald man doing evil things until a vigilante with pointy ears comes to rescue and kicks his ass. That's a good story. I mean, no, I couldn't even see Christopher Nolan picking a Bane. I was skeptical at first to see how he would play it out, you know, since all his films are kind of like real life, not much CGI. There's plenty of action, very little special effects, high-tech gadgets to maintain our attention, at least in spurts, in my opinion. Nolan keeps things dark and dangerous, and that's what I like about this film. Nolan's final isn't perfect, and may not be the greatest installment of the trilogy, but it's solidly satisfied the third part tale of the Batman legend as one of the best ever told. And I like how in the very end they show a statue of him being the greatest in Gotham City and him being the protector, and basically saying that anyone could be Batman besides Bruce Wayne. And that's my conclusion, saying if you haven't seen this movie, this is a spoiler, so skip to this if you don't want to hear it. I like how in the end he says anyone can be Batman, and he tells Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character that he, you know, kind of inherits the Batcave. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt goes into the Batcave, you see him rise up from the waterfall and going into the Batcave, and that concludes to being like, is there going to be a fourth Nolan film maybe with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Batman? It makes you think. So that's another thing I like about the ending of this film. You think of what you want to think in your mind for the ending of the Batman. It's a good, satisfying piece of filmmaking that delivers so much more for an excellent sign-off for one of the cinema's finest trilogies. And this Batman trilogy was amazing, guys. And I had fun reviewing The Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. My final verdict for this would possibly be, out of 5 stars, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It seems solid enough. And another few things I want to say. I like the character of Bane, even though he sounds like Sean Connery sometimes. Let the games begin. Let the games begin. And Christian Bale fixes Batman voice a little. I mean, he kind of still has that, "Hey, I'm Batman. You know, where is he?" kind of throat cancer, but he fixed it up a little. I mean, it wasn't as bad as The Dark Knight. "Where is the trigger? Tell me where the trigger is." You know, a lot of people make fun of it, but I enjoyed it. I mean, he's hiding himself. It was a satisfactory, exciting conclusion to the third film, and the greatest treatment of a superhero in film history. So, 4 out of 5, guys. Great character development, great story, great ending, and great speculation to the trilogy. So, talk to you guys later. I'll be reviewing another upcoming superhero movie franchise. I won't tell you what. I want to surprise you guys. I also will be reviewing another couple of other movies that don't have to do with superheroes. Kind of want to review The Collector and The Collection. I've recently watched those, and you'll hear my review soon. But if you guys have any requests, please feel free to leave it on the comments below or message me. Leave comments, subscribe. Thank you for all the support and the subscriptions. You know, it's highly appreciative. So this is Cash with another movie review, guys. Until next time, in the words of Batman, peace out. terrible, terrible voice. Why so serious? Bye.
My mother warned me about getting into cars with strange men.
This isn't a car.